Though it's blind, you don't see it coming.
She made a good point, though, about keeping your energy up during 3-by rotations. Georgia sophomore Kinsey Rowe missed the entire season last year. She injured herself in January of 2002.
She also missed her entire freshman season after tearing her ACL. She's had a tough career, but she has such passion for the sport. She's come back now, and she's competing so strong for Georgia. They're happy to have her healthy and back in the lineup on all 4 events.
On the balance beam, Kinsey Rowe, very stylish performer.
She's absolutely a beautiful gymnast. Handspring, back handspring layout, a triple flight, nails it. See how disciplined she was on the landing, pulling her arms up by her ears.
Concentration to the nth degree.
Oh, big skill there. Full twisting back handspring swing down. I love it.
Not holding anything back in these SEC championships. Each and every athlete goes all the way.
I'd say Georgia has a little bit of an advantage here, having their fans right near the beam. You can see them in the background. They're being quiet, observing this routine.
Suzanne Yocklin trying to stay seated. Unsuccessfully, she gets up and starts moving around.
Suzanne's a very nervous coach, especially on this event, balance beam.
Well, for good reason. Potential for disaster that we've spoken of many times.
Dismount, double twist.
And no problems at all for Kinsey Rowe of Georgia with a 9.9. No wonder she's getting mobbed by her teammates and her coaches. Take another look at Kinsey Rowe and get ready for more from Bartow. If Florida's going to make a run at the perennial favorites in the SEC championships, they're going to do it with athletes like Lindsey Minor. Here she goes on vault.
Doing the handspring style vault, handspring front pike with a half. That scored out of a 10, trying to get those salutes in before she lost her balance.
Nice job, 9.850. She didn't hide a lot from the judges, and a couple of little steps there on the dismount may have been the difference. Let's take another look.
This is one of the toughest vaults to do on this new vaulting table. We're seeing a lot of the Yurchenko style vaults. Soon we'll see less and less of this style of vault. They had to change their technique and reach their hands further down the horse. Lindsey does a pretty good job.
Courtney Puckett for Auburn as one of the real possibilities to perhaps upset Gina Rice in the individual all-around. She needs to put together 4 good routines tonight, starting with the uneven parallel bars.
Courtney dealt with some injuries last year. Finally, she's healthy and has really gotten better with every single competition. You can see her confidence building. Very pretty form. This is a new dismount that she debuted last year. Double layout. Good job.
Solid as a rock. And coming over, Jeff and Rochelle Thompson to congratulate her. Courtney Puckett, 9.850. That's going to keep her solidly in the running for that individual title, and a nice score for her team as well.
She gets a nice height, well above the bar. Slight separation in the legs, but the judges can't see that. What they see is a nice stretched straight body.
Cory Fritzinger getting set to go on the balance beam. She has scored a perfect 10 twice this season, and most notably against arch rival Alabama back in January. Take a look at this.
And what a tough event to score a perfect 10 on. So much can go wrong. If on floor exercise you're off a millimeter, it's no problem. You take a step on beam, you're on the floor. It's a 5/10 deduction. She nails the landing, a perfect 10. What an exciting night for Georgia.
And Coach Yocklin, the rest of her teammates, they may not have known it was going to be a 10, but they knew it was good. When the score came up, the place lit up. And even Alabama fans had to acknowledge the performance by Cory Fritzinger that night. This is another night, and again, in front of a lot of Alabama fans, Cory Fritzinger goes up on the balance beam.
Cory is a very emotional competitor. She likes to get up for the big competitions. She's had a tough week in practice, though. She has a stress reaction in her leg. That's affecting her training time. She's not getting the numbers in that she would like to.
You can see that she has both legs taped from just about the knees down.
Gainer layout. A stress reaction means it's possibly on the way to being a stress fracture, and it hurts. It's very painful on tough takeoffs and those landings.
So she has to rest it as much as possible, and that's what you meant by not getting the numbers. It seems these days they have a number of ways of describing what we used to call shin splints. Cory Fritzinger working through whatever pain she might be experiencing.
Dropping her right shoulder there, but she gains control. See some slight wobbles throughout this entire routine, but she's covering up the best that she can. The dismount, round off, double twist.
Happy that it's over, perhaps. How happy will she be with the score? 9.850, very consistent throughout the apparatus on which she has performed tonight. Cory Fritzinger still a force for the individual all-around and for her team.
Cory was a fighter through this entire routine. She had a few slight wobbles that could have been worse, but she fought through them.
Here are the scores. Georgia with the high score on beam, and by a little bit more of a margin than Alabama led them earlier. Here's Jen Hildreth with Coach Yocklin.
Well, the Georgia Gym Dogs have put their two most difficult events behind them. Suzanne, you're halfway home. How do you feel about your team's performance so far?
Well, on balance beam, I'm really excited. We did a great job. I wish we could do bars again. We only stuck 2 dismounts out of 5, and hopefully that set won't hurt us. 49-1 is low for a team in a championship meet on the uneven bars. We didn't fall, but we had low scores, and so hopefully that won't catch up to us. We're going to have to make some of it back on the next 2 events.
Alabama will be back in action coming off their bye rotation. Things are heating up. Draw Arkansas, Florida, and Georgia now in the bye rotation, while Alabama comes back on uneven parallel bars, and we will see Larissa Stewart.
Larissa has really beautiful form on this event. Nice pointed toes. Giant full. Those are her eagle giants. A difficult hand position. Out bar to Kachev, a little bit close. Swinging very nicely. Here's the dismount, double layout, good job.
Larissa Stewart doing a fine job for Alabama, and her teammates are right over there. Lauren Holdifer. And Larissa Stewart's score will be gratefully accepted by the Alabama team in their effort to try to regain the lead from Georgia.
In a competition this competitive, every 10th will count. So the gymnasts are looking to hit those handstands, stick those landings, because it'll come down to 1 or 2 tenths at the end of the competition. Take a look at her release move here. It's an out bar to Kachev. Quite often we see them done in bar. Larissa does it outside of the bar. A little bit close there, but it didn't stall her rotation.
Now Suzanne Yocklin talking to one of the SEC officials here, and much like I think in basketball, the coaches will try to work the officials. I'm not sure what's going on just there, but here we're going to see LSU's Lauren Companioni, who was SEC Gymnast of the Week the first week of March.
And also an All-American on this event last year.
Terrific performer in floor exercise. And
very animated.
One of the real spirited leaders of her team, too.
Double pike almost steps out of bounds, but keeps it in. Music is what she calls LSU's fight song on acid. Her front tumbling, front full to a front layout.
Coach Dee Dee Bro, front and center there for Companioni's performance on floor.
You ask most gymnasts what their favorite event is, and they will say floor exercise, especially when they get to perform in front of such an intense crowd as the SEC Championships. Pass whip half front layout.
And a big finish for Lauren Companioni of LSU, the Tigers. A 9.825, not a great score, but plenty good enough to keep Lauren Companioni pumped.
Lauren had some great presentation in this floor routine, opening with a double pike, nice and high. You can see her holding it in bounds there. She didn't want to give away that 10th.
Let's go quickly to Jen Hildreth.
Suzanne, we saw you talking with the judge a few minutes ago. What was that about?
Well, actually, I was talking to the meet referee, and her job is to watch all the action on the floor and make sure all the judging stays consistent throughout a competition. Usually a first event can be a little tight in terms of the scoring, and we felt like on bars it was. It was pretty tight. We hit our routines similar to what we have all year and scored a couple tenths less. So we just want to make sure it stays consistent throughout the competition and the scores don't start to go up with the other teams that follow us.